everybody, this is Ellen from Somerville Public Library, and this is our latest cooking demonstration using ingredients that you might already have around the house. Today we're going to make fried lemon pasta. It's a recipe I've actually never made before, so we'll learn how to do it together. On that note, I just want to say something about the recipe that we did last week, the mujadara. I think I said that I had made it before, but it was using a different recipe, the one from the Jerusalem cookbook. And the one that I showed you, the simplified version I found on the internet, I had actually never made before either. So after I made it, I thought it was really pretty heavy on the lentils. So I checked back with the Jerusalem recipe, and sure enough, the proportion of lentils to rice was completely different. If I were to make that again, I would cut the amount of lentils in half. You may prefer it with lots of lentils. I like it a little bit more evenly divided between lentils and rice. Again, it's your choice. So the fried lemon pasta, you're gonna need these ingredients: lemons, some spaghetti or fettuccine, olive oil, salt, sugar, butter, red pepper flakes, Parmesan cheese, black pepper. If you have fresh parsley, I don't. We're just going to use the dried. And there's also an optional ingredient, chopped celery leaves. I'm not including those today. So I have 2 lemons here. The recipe calls for 4, but I'm only making a half recipe because we have to eat everything that I make during these shows, so I'm just gonna go with a half. I have to zest 2 lemons, and I think I showed you this before. If you have a zester, you can use a zester, and that gives you little tiny shreds like that, and you only wanna use the yellow part. If you don't have a zester, you can just use an ordinary vegetable peeler and then cut off a thin slice, and then you can, I got the wrong kind of knife for this, but yeah, you would cut it up into little pieces. Since I have the zester, I'm just gonna go ahead and use that and zest the 2 lemons. Okay, so here's the zest of that lemon. Now I'm gonna juice it. I'm gonna need to use the juice later. And we just set aside the zest and the juice for later. Now this lemon, I'm gonna cut both ends off and then cut it into quarters. And take out the seeds. There's probably more in there. I'll get them as I find them. And then you're gonna slice this lemon into very thin slices like that. All 4 quarters of it. Okay, so here are the little pieces of lemon, and I've got a pot of boiling salted water here, and I'm just gonna put these pieces in and blanch them for about 2 minutes. And when they're ready, I'm gonna take them out with this slotted spoon, leave the water in the pot because we're gonna use it to cook the pasta. And then I'm gonna put those lemon pieces on a plate with a dish towel to dry them off and blot them dry a little bit. Okay, these lemon pieces have blanched for 2 minutes. I'm gonna spread them out on this towel and blot them dry. And as I said before, we're not getting rid of this water because we're gonna use it to cook the spaghetti in just a minute. Okay, so here is the lemon. It's all been blotted dry. I'm gonna put it on the side. And now we're gonna use the same water that we cooked that lemon in to cook the spaghetti. The recipe calls for a pound. I'm making a half recipe, so I guesstimate I've got about a half pound here. And I'm just gonna put that into the water. Oh, there's still a piece of lemon in there. And cook it until it's just barely al dente. Okay, the pasta's cooked. I need to drain it, but save half a cup of the cooking liquid for later. So that will be set aside. This I'm draining. And I'm just gonna toss it back in the pot and add just a little teeny bit of olive oil to keep it from sticking while I put it aside and work on the rest of the recipe. So now I have a pan. I'm adding a tablespoon of oil and heating it up. And once that gets hot, I'm going to add those blanched pieces of lemon to it and a pinch of sugar that I have here, a pinch of salt, and then cook them for 3 to 5 minutes until they start to caramelize and the edges get a little bit brown. So we got hot pan, and I'm going to add these bits of blanched lemon. A little pinch of sugar to help it get brown. A little pinch of salt. And then I'm just going to cook them until they caramelize, get a little brown, and we'll be back in a second to show you what that looks like. You can see that they're getting brown and they're just about done, I would say. I'm just going to give them another minute, and then I'm going to transfer them to a plate. So here are the cooked lemon pieces. I took them out of the pan, set them aside. Now I'm going to add my butter to the pan. Heat that up with a little more olive oil. That's a tablespoon and a half of butter, which is the half recipe amount. I'm going to add a tablespoon of olive oil. Get that hot. And the next thing is, I think it's whiskey. Oh no. Once this is all melted and heated up, then I'm going to add in the lemon zest that we reserved on the side and the chili flakes. Now this recipe calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon. Half of that would be, I don't know, 1/4 of a teaspoon, and another 1/4 of a teaspoon. This is a Melissa Clark recipe. I'm going to turn down the heat a little. She likes these red chili flakes more than I do, so I'm just going to go with less than she recommends. And again, you do the same. You do it to your taste. So this is supposed to cook till fragrant, which does not take long. It's starting to smell really good already. The next thing I'm going to do is take that reserved liquid from cooking the lemons and the pasta and whisk it in. That's a 1/2 cup. If you're making the full recipe, you would use the full cup. So I whisk that in. Then add, toss in the pasta, the juice of 1 lemon, and the cheese. Alright, so let's just let this come up to a boil. And toss in the pasta. Cook it till it's nice and coated. that sauce. Smells really good. Then we add the juice from the lemon. The full recipe calls for the juice of 1 lemon, so I'm going to go with half of this. The pieces of lemon that we already cooked. One-third cup of Parmesan cheese. Some black pepper. It's a shame that I don't have the fresh parsley, but I'll go ahead and toss in a pinch of dry. It gives a little bit of flavor and a little extra color. And that is pretty much that. Okay, so that's the finished dish. You can see the nice little pieces of lemon in it. The reason I chose this was because it seemed like a perfect pantry recipe. There's so few ingredients, and most of these are things that you already have. Sprinkle a little bit more cheese on top and serve it. That's that. This is Ellen from Somerville Public Library. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if there's any ingredients or recipes you'd like to see me try. And have a great week. Bye.